Got there. 6 to win, 4 for a super over. More.
G'day and welcome to the Game Day Squad Oz Cricket Fantasy Show. I'm Haz, that's Dill, and that's Stu. We are the Fantasy Bros. We have partnered with Game Day Squad to bring you all you need to know to succeed in this season's Oz Cricket competition. Dill, we're on the last positional rankings before we get ready for round one.
Yeah, mate. G'day, Haz. G'day, Stu. We definitely are. We've got one final show, and it is a big one today. But then we head into the massive kickoff weekend with the round one double prize game of the Sixers versus Scorchers. We will have a live preview show heading your way that Sunday. However, before we get there, mate, we've got a few things we've got to get through. We're running through our consensus top 10 bowlers. Plus, as always, we have our pack opening competition where listeners can win some unreal prizes. Look, we'll be getting a little bit of a graphic out later in the week to show some of the prizes that you can win, so you do not want to miss that. Don't forget to like and subscribe across all of our socials to keep up to date via @FantasyBrosAU. That's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Insta, everything you can think of, TikTok, etc. Go there, join us, and have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely, boys. And new users as well. They can sign up and get a whole heap of packs to get their squads up and rolling, ready for round one. They can use the promo code SUMMER. That's all caps, SUMMER. They'll need to do that during sign up. And that'll give them 3x3 player common packs, as well as a whole heap of bronze cards. And that'll certainly get them ready for that awesome round one. So yeah, if you're a new user or if you're a current user and got a few mates who are sort of sitting on the fence, love their cricket, not doing too much over this holiday season, tell them about Game Day Squad, give them that promo code of SUMMER, get them involved and see if they can take down the Fantasy Bros.
Yeah, so we've done our top 10 bat wicket keeper and our top 10 all-rounder. I think today we are doing our top 10 bowlers. So let's jump into our rankings now. We will break down our consensus top 10 players and discuss some of the key differences in our individual rankings. As you can see on the screen, we've had some elite performances from the bowlers last season, with Heat superstar Spencer Johnson topping the averages with 68.33. Unfortunately, Spencer has been ruled out for this Big Bash season, so making sure you do not play any of his cards, especially his All-Star card, this season, because he will not be repping the till this year. He was closely followed by Mark Steckity last season with a 68-point GDS average. Unfortunately, he's another one that's been ruled out for the entire season, so don't play him either. And then Jason Behrendorff, who impressed all season long, totaling 522 points, and he's switched across to the Melbourne Renegades. Dill, can you run us through our consensus rankings, 10 through to 6?
Yeah, definitely, mate. Before I do that, though, Spencer Johnson All-Stars, the boys over at GDS have put a massive thing together, and they are getting a trade in there with the Spencer Johnson All-Stars. Hit them up. They will get you a Matt Short All-Star, which is an awesome opportunity. I know, Stu, you cashed in on that, and you could not be happier. Yeah. So yeah, if you are not on Discord, but you are watching this and you've got a Spencer Johnson All-Star, make sure you hit up the boys at Game Day Squad and they can sort that out for you. Yeah, look, on screen, our 10 through to 6. Starting us off, Luke Wood coming back into the competition at 10. Xavier Bartlett there at 9. Look, let's be honest, we put these together when Spencer Johnson was healthy, and obviously Xavier Bartlett's going to have a big role to play now. 8, we've got Harris Ralph. 7, Jai Richardson. And then 6, we've got the man of the hour, Rashad Hussain, who I think will have a big season.
Yeah, that's a pretty good 5 to get started. I think, Stu, you want to talk about Rashad Hussain, the Bangladeshi.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And by the time the tournament commences in just a couple of days' time, boys, it'll be almost 11 whole years since we've had a Bangladeshi play in the Big Bash. And that was Shakib Al Hassan. And he's arguably Bangladesh's best cricket player. So we could have seen the second ever Bangladeshi in Rashad Hussain in last year's tournament, but there was some late shenanigans going on by the Bangladeshi cricket board, and they asked him to play in their Premier League tournament. So we have to wait until this season to see that man, and he's going to turn out for the Hobart Hurricanes. And I think they've got a really good pace attack. They're going to be dominant with the ball in that regard, but I think he just adds some variety and something that they've missed in a couple of recent seasons. They've had some okay spinners, but look, this is an international frontline spinner that's going to capitalise on that pace bowling attack. So he's a 23-year-old leggy, and you might remember he made a name for himself in that T20 World Cup back in 2023, where he's the third highest wicket taker with 14. And he talks about how happy he was to take the prize scalps of our very own Travis Head and Indian Rishabh Pant. In his 54 T20 international matches, he's taken 68 wickets at a strike rate of 16. And he comes into the tournament claiming 6 wickets in 3 matches against the Windies and backed that up with 4 wickets in 2 games against Ireland. But what was most impressive was his economy rate at below 6. We're not going to rely on him with the bat, surely, but he's certainly no mug in that regard. He'll probably bat at 8 or 9 for the Canes. And he does have a T20 international 50 to his name. So that's always very handy if for some reason that Canes top or middle order struggle and they need him to bat out sort of the last 4 or 5 overs. Any runs with the bat is going to be pretty handy. But look, I'm backing him to have a pretty big season with the ball. As I said, Nathan Ellis, Riley Meredith, Billy Stanlake, they're going to cause a lot of problems with the ball in terms of pace. And I think he's going to be a lovely change up. And maybe if the pacemen are putting some pressure on the opposition team, they'll look to go after Rashad Hussain. And I think his bag of tricks is going to be a little bit too difficult for some of the players here that haven't really faced that type of spin bowling before. So when the batsmen go after the spinners, we know that it can result in some pretty big hits over the boundary, but they could certainly result in plenty of wickets as well. I think he's going to like the surface down there in Hobart. He's got plenty of skills. Let's hope he can get some runs with the bat as well. But yeah, I think he's in for a big season. And gee, that Hurricanes team is looking pretty dominant.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think that I think the Hurricanes last year went through the tournament without that, big frontline spinner, and getting that international spinner to come into a side that is already stacked with talent. I think he's going to be an absolute gun player for them this season. And I think even with that, handy contributions at 8 or 9 that we might not rely on, I think his bowling will be good enough on its own. And I think that economy rate of below 6 will be absolutely unreal for GDS. Dill, I believe you want to talk about your fellow Brisbane Heat, Xavier Bartlett.
Yeah, boys, mate, it wasn't that long ago we were talking about an absolutely unreal bowling lineup for the Heat. And I mean, look at what maybe a week or 2 does in the Big Bash. It makes all of the difference. Spencer Johnson, obviously, we said at the top of the show, has been ruled out for the season. He's coming to that back injury. There is whispers as well that he might not be fit for the T20 World Cup, which is a bit of a shame for the Aussies there too. And then obviously not a big surprise turn of events there from the Pakistani Cricket Board. They've announced an impromptu T20 series against Sri Lanka just in early January in the middle of the Big Bash season. No biggie, which unfortunately we're going to miss probably Shaheen Afridi through the middle period of the competition as well. So, look, further adding to that, I think as well, look, the Heat's bowling woes just are compounding with Michael Neser having an unreal outing and for the Australian team in the Ashes recently in Brisbane. Whether it was just a pick, at his home ground, or whether he's going to stay with the team, we're not sure yet. But it could mean that the bowling stocks of the Heat are very limited, and it's going to really fall on the massive shoulders of Xavier Bartlett, I think, to be that strike bowler and to get the job done more often than not. We've already talked about how thin we are at the top of the batting order, so we're going to rely on a lot of bowling options there at the bottom of the order to get the job done. Last season, Xavier Bartlett in his first 2 games without Johnson, he actually averaged 60 GDS points and he took 4 wickets across those. With Johnson back in the side for the remaining games in the season, Bartlett's average actually dropped quite significantly in terms of GDS down to 37.5. Keeping in mind as well that did include a 4-wicket haul in one of the games that he did play. It just seemed quite often, and Stu, we talked about this quite a lot, bouncing back and forward, going, who is going to be dominant in that Heat game, whether it is going to be Johnson or Bartlett. And majority of the time, it actually ended up being Johnson who sort of took that strike role, and Bartlett just supported where necessary. But look, I think clearly Big X this season is going to have more success as that number 1 strike bowler for the Heat. And that's going to bode well, both for the boys in teal and then for all of us GDS coaches who can get Xavier Bartlett into our side. Further supporting his bid, he's had quite a big pre-season as well for Australia against New Zealand, India. Across those 5 games that he played in those international games, he bowled 19 overs and he took a combined total of 6 wickets. Plus he added a catch there to his stats as well. So definitely some upsides potentially in his fielding. The downside, obviously, to his output and potential ceiling is, unfortunately, he doesn't offer too much with the bat. So I think he had a couple of ducks last season and a sort of a nudge of 3 or 4 in a couple of games, and that was about it. So we're not relying on him like we are in a lot of the other bowlers that we look at a little bit later on who can swing a bat. We're really just relying on his ability to take wickets quickly and often. And I think that's going to be the key for both the Heat and then for all of us coaches as well.
Yeah, I think now that Spence and Shaheen Afridi, once he goes as well, X will have that new ball. He'll have it swinging both ways, tempting that outside edge. And I think he's going to be a massive threat in that power play and even the surge over as well. But Dill, you say he doesn't offer much with the bat. I believe on the weekend he scored 84 runs against England Lions at more than a run a ball. So yes, I think he does offer something with the bat. And if he does, geez, he's going to be a great pick this year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I am now going to talk about Jai Richardson. As always with Jai Richardson, the question isn't about his talent or his impact with the ball. It's whether he can stay fit and healthy for a full campaign. Richardson is generally one of my favourite fast bowlers in Australia when he's up and going. He can swing that new ball both ways. He's got the variations to bowl at the death, making him a genuine wicket taker in all phases of the innings. In what is hopefully a positive sign of things to come, Richardson recently bowled 7 overs in the first innings and 13 in the second innings for the CA11 against the England Lions in his return to first-class cricket. That game was his first-class game of cricket since January 11 earlier this year. He didn't take any wickets against the Lions, but most important thing is he got through that workload unscathed. While playing for Australia against the Lions last week, he was the chief destroyer, taking 4 for 35 in his 12 overs in that first innings, helping the Aussie A side knock over the Lions for 166. This could be a sign that Jai is finding some form just in time for the BBL. Last this season, Richardson played only the 5 games, but he still averaged 46.2 GDS points. He's a one-dimensional scorer who relies on taking wickets to boost his score. In those 5 matches last season, he collected 8 wickets, including 2 3-wicket hauls that earned him that handy bonus, plus another game where he took 2 wickets. Those performances delivered GDS scores of 78, 77, and 64. But in the 2 games he went wicketless, which is the concern, he scored just 5 and 7 GDS points, which shows exactly how dependent he is on taking those scalps. And to be fair, he's not the most reliable fielder either, so don't expect much help from him in the field, because I think the Scorchers try and hide him as best as possible. What I do love this season, though, is that Jai is now the guy in the Scorchers attack. With Jason Behrendorff and AJ Ty moving on, my apologies, and Lance Morris out injured, Richardson becomes that main strike weapon. If he stays fit, he could easily finish near the top of the wicket-taking leaderboard, which means plenty of ceiling games. It might be a watch and wait early, but if his body holds up and he's firing, I've got high hopes for this Terror quick this season.
Yeah, that's right, boys. 17 wickets for Jason Behrendorff last season, 15 for Lance Morris. So 32 between them. Someone's got to pick up some slack somewhere. Yeah, that will probably be shared around. They've obviously got a nice young, up and quick, fast bowler. But yeah, look, I think the signs are pointing in the right direction for Jai Richardson. As long as he's feeling comfortable with that shoulder, he's feeling fit. We know he's probably going to get 2 at the top of the innings, probably 1 during the surge and 1 at the death. And look, he does so much damage early on. And then when the batsmen are going after him in that surge or at the end of the innings. So, yeah, I think you're spot on there. I think he's in for a big year. And I think Perth are in for a big tournament as well. They always seem to do pretty well. They are down a little bit on their bowling stocks, but maybe this is just one of those years then Jai Richardson is the man for him.
Yeah, perfect. Dill, do you want to run us through our 5 through 1 consensus rankings?
Yeah, definitely, Matt. At 5, we have Jai Richardson's teammate in Marley Beardman, who I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about. I absolutely love that bloke. At 4, we've got the Behrendorff. 3, we have Shaheen Afridi. 2, we have Tommy Rogers, the right Tommy Rogers. And number 1, our new number 1 consensus. Look, I'll be honest. I'll tell the truth. We did have Spencer Johnson in that spot to begin with, but it is now Nathan Ellis to take over.
Yeah, unfortunately, like you said, Big Spence, number one, but he's out. So Ellis, the crown. But Dill, first, I think you want to talk about that young gun, Marley Beardman.
Yeah, look, I'll be completely honest, and this pick is all my doing. I think he probably was much higher on your lists, or lower, I should say, on your list, but he's super high for me. And I think that the fact that Johnson's ruled out, we adjusted, and for me, Marley Beardman probably at the moment isn't in the top 5, but I think for me personally, he sneaks into that top 5. And look, there's plenty of reasons why. The right arm speedster is set for a massive breakout season, I reckon. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does finish within that top 5. Obviously, a few things have to align for him. And I guess one of the big ones is going to be Richo's body, which no doubt will be a talking point throughout the season. But Beardman, look, we go back last season. He had a taste of Big Bash, stepping onto the pitch twice in the back end of the season. His first outing wasn't successful from a GDS standpoint, and that's fair enough. His first game there, we don't expect a whole lot, but it was his second game that the coaches should take note. 3 overs, 3 wickets, and 8 dots at an economy of 5.66. He also added a catch in the field, and he finished that game with a GDS score of 80 points. So it's an unreal performance in your second game with the ball in a team like the Scorchers. The positive as well in that game that he wasn't the only one contributing with the ball. He had the likes of Morris and Berendorf there as well, who were also firing. But like we say, neither of the blokes will line up for the Scorchers this season. Instead, we're going to see the quicks made up of Richo, of Kelly and Paris and Beardman there somewhere. We've already talked about we can't necessarily rely on Richo's body to hold up, which I think is going to bode well for Beardman, who honestly has felt probably plenty of praise earlier in the week. Skipper Ashton Turner came out and said, keep an eye on this bloke. He's going to have a massive season, as will Cooper Connolly. So they obviously have high hopes and a lot of praise for Beardman as well. And no doubt off the back of that, one of the young guns, he's had a great preseason prep, taking 7 wickets in his last 3 matches for Western Australia. So in a world where Richo's body doesn't hold up and Kelly and Paris just aren't the options, I think we're going to see a massive season from Marley Beardman. So make sure you keep an eye on him, as I think he's going to be one of the best bowling prospects this season and probably in the future as well. Luckily for us, GDS is a dynasty platform, so every Marley Beardman card we pull, we get to keep forever.
Yeah, I really like that shout. Obviously, just talked about Jai and his body. And like you said, if he doesn't get through, someone's got to have to pick up that slack. And I think Beardman probably is that guy, with Kelly and Paris probably going to play that more supportive role. Beardman, I think, just adds that variety to their attack. Obviously, no Lance Morris. They're lacking probably a little bit of speed. And I think Beardman sending down his 140 plus kilometre an hour deliveries, he's going to cause some problems with the batters this year, especially at Optus Stadium. Now I'm going to talk about Jason Berendorf. He's been a stalwart of the BBL for over a decade, and his class and wicket-taking ability can't be questioned. He's played 106 BBL games and taken 140 wickets throughout his career, placing him 5th on the all-time wicket-takers list. He's renowned for swinging the new ball in the power play, regularly striking early in the innings. Scorchers often bowled him for 3 straight overs up front to maximise his impact with that brand new white kookaburra. I must admit, I had him lower in my individual rankings, but that was before I looked at the numbers from the last couple of seasons. My gut feeling couldn't have been more wrong. In BBL 13, Berendorf took 16 wickets and averaged 49.67 GDS points. Last season, he went to another level, finishing as the leading wicket taker with 17 wickets at an average of 57.4 GDS points per game, which was equal 4th among all bowlers who played more than 3 matches. What's especially impressive is how consistent he was despite offering next to nothing with the bat. He only scored 25 runs all season. His lowest score for the season in a GDS perspective was 37 points, while he took at least 1 wicket in every game. He only twice dipped below 10 dot balls in an innings, and he bowled 3 maidens throughout the tournament. Now, I want to throw a question to you boys. Who do you think had more catches last season, Jason Berendorf or Sam Harper? Sam Harper played 1 more game than Jason Berendorf.
Oh, it has to be Berendorf, obviously. Poor Sammy Harper. Mate, he can't catch a break either.
I remember
I
remember Berendorf being in the outfield and taking a few cheeky ones. I reckon he got 4 or 5 catches.
They had the same amount of catches, but like I said, Sammy Harper had 1 more game. And obviously, Sammy Harper keeps wickets. So Behrendorff does also have that fielding contributions that give him a rock solid floor every week. He took 6 catches last season, which does, like I said, give him that good solid floor. His move from the Scorchers to the Renegades was one of the more surprising off-season decisions, but from a GDS perspective, I absolutely love it. He'll now call Marvel Stadium home, the venue that allowed the most GDS points to bowlers last season at 47 point per 6 game per average. GMHBA Stadium, the Gade's second home, allowed the second most, 44.1 points per game per innings. That makes Behrendorff a near must-play at both grounds. I'll definitely be starting him in their first match against the Heat, purely for the fact that it's at GMHBA. I'm expecting Behrendorff to form one of the competition's best new ball partnerships alongside Tommy Rogers, who obviously we've ranked above him. But his role outside the power play is something to watch early. The Gades have one of the deepest bowling attacks in the league with plenty of strike power across all phases. So it'll be interesting to see where Behrendorff gets his 3rd and 4th overs. Even though there's that concern, I think Behrendorff will be in my team more often than not this season.
Yeah, I agree. And as you touched on there, his teammate and Tommy Rogers, I think, it's going to be a tough call when we can only play one at times. And I think that's going to be a really tough decision when we've got 4 or 5 other options outside of that. But I feel like more often than not, I'll be pairing them together and just playing both of them because I think they're both going to have a massive performance. And if you're sitting there listening to us or watching us on YouTube, looking at the stats that has just rattled off, thinking, how can I get a hold of that? Boys, make sure you head over to the website, FantasyBrosAU.com. You can download the textbook. It has all of the stats that matter that will help you get through the preseason and throughout most of the season. So if you haven't done that already, make sure you will.
Yeah, perfect. I have to say that textbook has come in handy a few times already this preseason. Stewie, do you want to talk about Nathan Ellis, who could well finish as our number 1 bowler for the year?
Yeah, boys, this is becoming a bit of a Hobart Hurricanes-centered episode for me with Rashad Hussain, obviously, and now Nathan Ellis. But look, I think he can do enough to finish first or probably in the top 2 overall in terms of averages this season, particularly now that they've got Rashad Hussain there. And he's going to complement the pace attack really, really well. So they're going to really struggle to go after a particular bowler. They sort of, in the last couple of matches last year, took the sort of 5 or 6 runs off Nathan Ellis without doing anything too crazy. And he sort of bowls that really nice wide Yorker as well, which the batsmen find really difficult to get away. Unfortunately, it's not a wicket-taking ball. But, yeah, with the addition of Rashad Hussain, they're going to have to go after someone. And there's probably going to be some worse batsmen there at the end of an innings, which is when Nathan Ellis gets those 1 or 2 final overs as well. So, yeah, I think he's in for a much bigger season this year now that they've got that front line spinner. He didn't have a bad year last year. He was the 6th highest averaging bowler with 49 points. In his BBL career, he's averaging a wicket every 18 balls. And of all pace bowlers to take 10 plus wickets, he's got the 3rd best economy rate ever. He's now becoming a pretty regular fixture in the Australian limited overs squad. And his excellent death over bowling is limiting opposition bats. But in the overs that really matter, while he can pick up some of the important wickets along the way as well. More recently, he's been bowling really well for the Aussies. In the T20 series with India, he claimed back-to-back 3-wicket performances. And then he's been performing nicely for Tassie in the 50-over match. He took 2 for 37 from 9 and also chipped in for a handy 20 not out with the bat. So not only do I expect him to be amongst the leading wicket takers, particularly with a number of cheap wickets at the back end of an innings, I think he's going to be more than handy as a lower order bat as well. He can strike at about 130, and that's what he's been doing throughout his BBL career. He notched a top score of 40 in last season's competition, and he actually got the 3rd most runs for all bowler eligible players. So it's something we can't sleep on. We talked a lot about Tommy Rogers in the Renegades preview about why he was so good. Not only did he take plenty of wickets, but he scored 99 runs with the bat as well. So, I do think Nathan Ellis can be number 1 on the GDS bowler ranks. I just hope that he can target the stumps in that 19th or 20th over. I don't want him bowling none for 2 off 6 balls in that 19th over because he's bowling the unplayable balls. Mate, go for 8 or 12, but take 2 or 3 wickets along the way, please. That'll make me feel a lot safer, a lot happier sitting on the couch there watching the Hobart Hurricanes. But yeah, look, big season for them. Unreal batting attack. They're going to post plenty of runs, which means oppositions are going to have to score plenty of runs themselves. And we know that means risky shot play. And Nathan Ellis is just too good of a bowler. He's going to capitalise on that, and he's going to get plenty of wickets in that wicket column.
Yeah, I absolutely love that shout. I think Ellis is probably, for me, one of the clear number ones this season, especially with that form that he's in, like you said, for the Aussies. And now that he's going to be really pushing to solidify that spot for the World Cup next year, I think he's going to come out. He's going to lead from the front again for the Hurricanes this season, and he's going to try and go back to back with that side that they've got. I think he's got to, really lead from the front and be that really strike wicket-taking option for them this season. Dill, I believe it might be time for our favourite part of the episode.
100%, mate. It is our favourite part of the episode. We're going to open a 2 3-player all-star packs I've got today ready to go. They are rare all-star packs, and we are looking for a couple of all-stars to add to the giveaway pool. Look, we have already pulled a whole bunch of cards already, but if we've got any bowlers that we hit today, we're going to chuck them straight into the giveaway pool. To enter that giveaway pool, all you need to do is subscribe to the Fantasy Bros YouTube page, the Spotify or Apple podcast music app, then like the video or the podcast and comment who your number one bowler is for the 25-26 season. As well, go back and watch all of our preseason content to find out more ways to enter. Right now, you can get up to 11 entries into the draw. Plus, there's a little bonus entry that we might be able to give you as well. Make sure you watch to the end where I can let you know how you get hold of that. Alrighty, with that out of the way, let's jump straight into our pack opening. I've got, hopefully on screen, you'll be able to see we've got the rare pack there ready to go. 3-player all-star. Alrighty, if we hit if we hit a Spencer Johnson all-star, that is going to be an unreal prize because remember, boys, that goes straight to a Matt Short all-star.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Fingers toast. Alrighty, starting with a Joel Paris gold. That's going straight into the giveaway. We've got a Nathan McSweeney plat, and we finished the pack with the Joshy Brown gold. So we've got Joel Paris gold there going straight into the giveaway. It's going to pair up with the Joel Paris diamond that is currently in there.
Just while the second pack there is loading, a big shout out to who packed a really nice diamond, sorry, not a diamond, an all-star Mitchy Owen today in a rare pack. So well done, Pity. A bit of luck there. Well done, mate. Very jealous about that. Good on you.
Alrighty, second pack is up, and we've got a gold Kane Richardson again, jumping straight into that giveaway pool. Should be unreal for the first round. We've got a plat Joel Davis. Maybe this is a Sixers pack here. Here we go, finishing us off. It is a Sixers pack. Jeffrey Chauhan to finish us off, an unreal pack there as well. So we'll chuck a few of those into the giveaway pool. And it is very stacked, as I said. Look, we've got a whole bunch of cards in there already. Like I said, that Joel Paris diamond. We've got the Glenn Maxwell All-Star. And we've got a bunch of other combo cards or packs that will be going to our viewers and our listeners. And that will come to you on our first live show happening this Sunday, December 14th, kicking off at 5:15 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you set your clocks to the correct and obvious time, that is Queensland time. We're going to run through all of the round 1 preview as well as round 2 preview because we've got that double prize game in round 1, and then we jump straight into the 3-game round 2 competition as well. So make sure you go over to YouTube, like and subscribe. We'll get that up ready so that you can be ready as well. And as I said, boys, one more cheeky way to get involved in the giveaway is if you head over to our brand new website, fantasybrosau.com, and download our BBL textbook for free. That textbook is your preseason guide to everything Game Day Squad, Oz Cricket. Just head over there, download that, and then hit us up either on Discord, Instagram, whatever you like, to show us that you've downloaded that textbook. You will get an extra entry into the giveaway pool. You can have up to 12 entries. And why wouldn't you when we've got one of the best all-rounders in the competition to ever play Big Bash in Glenn Maxwell, his All-Star ready to go to give away to a lucky viewer or listener. While you're on that website, don't forget, we've got some merch out, so you might want to get yourself a cheeky Christmas present as well. You can join the bros with the hat, the shirt, or the hoodie as well. Fellas, looking forward to Sunday. I cannot wait. It's going to be a massive weekend of cricket. Have a good one. We will see you soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
See you, boys.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode by the Fantasy Bros. If you want to show your support, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this show on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Also, make sure you check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search @FantasyBros AU.